This is so funny because whenever you see me, I don't have knees or lower legs or feet. So I actually do, just so you know. Same with you, actually. So welcome, everyone. I mean, I can see from who's here, many of you have been practicing for quite a long time. And this time and next time, we're going to go into some very deep esoteric practices, Taoist practices. And we're going to ground them in everyday reality. So because these practices and teachings have to be intimate, they have to be imminently practical and useful. Otherwise, it's just stuff. So that's where we'll be going today. And I'm calling this class Where the Rubber Meets the Road, or the way, or the path. I prefer the way to the path. Now, before we begin, I want to just give you a little bit of background. In the Taoist tradition, in the Chinese shamanic tradition, there are the 5 elements are different. In this tradition, and as the basis of Chinese medicine, which I don't know much about, but the 5 elements are earth, water, fire, metal, and wood. Seems odd, but there are reasons for that. And we don't have to go into what it all is. But for this practice of Qigong, the practice of Shandong, the spiritual Qigong, and the inner alchemy, these 5 make a lot of sense. So if you just keep that in mind, we're going to do 2 sitting meditation periods today, one about halfway through and the other one at the end. I'll remind you again about those elements. So again, it's earth, water, fire, metal, and wood. Okay? The other thing that I mentioned before is that the practice of Qigong, of energy, sensitivity, cultivation, is not only internal in the body and the mind, but it's also external. In fact, there's no separation. Qi flows through everything. So when we're aligning our internal Qi, our system, we're also grounding the external, the big systems, the big Qi, the sky, the earth, the weather, the landscape, the moon, the sun, the stars, all of these things flow through us, okay? And so when we dedicate the practice, we're actually practicing with the sense that we are creating harmony, not only in ourselves, but in the environment or in the world. So I'd just like you to, if you want to, we'll dedicate this practice, or the Buddhists say dedicate the merit of this practice, to somebody or to something, to a cause, or to a concept, or to a person. And we'll return to this at the end. So let's just go ahead and get yourself very grounded. And then after the out-breath, just let something arise for you that you wish to practice with. That's probably the best way to say it. And then once you sort of have that, let's go ahead and just bow to it. And we're also bowing to the tradition, that is, to the ancestral teachers and practitioners. All right. And let's go ahead and bow to the 7 directions, so starting with the north. East, south, west, above, below, within. Okay, let's loosen up our neck and shoulders. Open up the lungs. In breath, out breath. Okay, for this one, I'd also like to open the lower dantian, which is just below the belly, the navel, in the middle of the body. So same movement. So Okay, now let's do some that are uniting heaven and earth. So let's begin with, so this is like the backwash, but we'll be bringing up, we'll gather earth chi and raise it to the dantian. This is part of the morning routine. So out breath, we're going to come down and then we're going to reach, bend all the way down, reach and bring up this chi, this vital life force energy to the lower dantian and feel and imagine it being stored and sort of glowing in the belly. Okay, so here we go. So out breath, in breath. And the hands are resting on the surface of a sphere of energy centered in the lower dantian. Okay, with the next out breath, repeat. You can visualize this, feel it, you can hear it, sense it. Bringing the attention into the middle of the body, below and behind the navel. So you can use your eyes and look down within the body, down to that area. It's not a point, it's sort of an area called the lower elixir field. Okay, so then repeating, out breath, in breath, rest. And as you breathe, with the in breath, you can move the hands away from the body just slightly. With the out breath, they come back just a little. This is the pulsing energy ball in the lower dantian. Energy gate. Okay, so let's repeat. So out breath. And let's do one more. The out breath. And now, with the next in breath, we're going to bring some of this up into the chest area. So there's energy, light in the lower dantian and now in the middle dantian. This is in the center of the body, near the heart. Okay, and then repeat. So this is an in breath as we bring up. Let's do one more. And now dipping the knees and moving up. Now we're going to do the parting the clouds, so the hands will be back to back, all the way at the top, looking up, parting the clouds. So the light, the sun, the moon, the stars goes down the central axis, through the forehead, down through the middle dantian, lower dantian, and down into the earth. Okay, so let's repeat. Palms together, elbows, watch them go up. At the very top, stretch, then back to back, and then imagine parting the clouds, the light's coming down, and you're following this down inside the body with the eyes at the level of the hands. It goes down, fills the body, and then continues out the perineum and down into the earth. And then repeat. Look up, open. The light from the sun, the moon, the stars come down, fills the body. Look within. Feel it coming down, filling the body all the way down. Down out the perineum, down into the earth. And one more time. Hands back to back. Okay, now the body's aligned with the center of the earth and with the light of the stars. The central axis channels are open. There's light in the body, in the belly, and in the heart. And I'm way above. And in the hands as well. Okay, now let's go to wave hands through clouds outer. So whatever hand is on top, we're going to turn that direction, turn the waist, switch the hands, turn the waist, switch the hands. The upper hand is receiving the light of the cosmos, the lower hand, the chi of the earth. The upper hand is the middle dantian at the heart. The lower hand is the abdominal one. This is balancing the ancestral chi of the earth and the boundless light of the stars. Using the body and the mind to balance these energies within the body and in the environment. Bringing the world of form into harmony with the formless. Or as Buddhists say, the balancing the historical dimension with the ultimate dimension. Okay. Nice. Just enjoy this. Okay, let's do one more each side. Come to center, and now switch so the palms are facing. The upper hand is at the middle dantian, the lower hand to the lower dantian. And again, moving in the direction of the upper hand. Turn, switch. And this is balancing yin and yang in the mind-body system. All right, and let's slowly reduce the movements little by little. Maybe you can sense some connection between the palms. And then finally, let's do the posture, touching heaven, touching earth. Palms are facing each other, and they're at the center line as if resting on a pane of glass. Stretch a little, and with your mind, extend the top hand way, way up, infinitely up. Look up, and then come back down. Extend the lower hand all the way down into the earth. Look down. And then looking inwardly, bring your eyes up into the lower dantian and the middle dantian. And now come back to the center. And then once more, and switch the hands. Extending up, extending down. Also, the central column is conscious, going all the way up. Move your eyes all the way down. And now come back. And then one hand over each of the dantians. And again, let the hands move away a little bit with the in-breath. All right, let's go ahead now and bring up your stool or your chair. And for this one, let's make the Lan Fa mudra or the Yin and Yang mudra. Just bringing the hands together, either one. So sitting, let's sense the verticality of the body. Drop the eyes, drop the mind down to the center of the earth. Bring the attention up, all the way up through the body, out the top of the head. Raise the eyes, raise the mind, the cosmos. And then finally, focusing on the middle dantian and the lower dantian, let them radiate out. With the out breath or the in breath, let them radiate out, create a field around the body. Sense it with the pores of the skin. Extend your senses out in all directions. Okay, now let's drop our eyes, drop our attention down to the lower dantian. We're inside the body in the abdomen. And in this area, this space, we're going to visualize a stack of firewood arranged in a circular pattern, stacked up. This is the element wood. And now we're going to bring to this, with the next in-breath, the element fire, creating a fire in the belly. Okay. And now to this, now we're going to bring a metal cauldron, a big cauldron, that suspends over this hot fire in the belly. Big cauldron. This is in the body, in the lower dantian, looking down. And now into the cauldron, we're going to fill the cauldron with water. And now as the breath comes and goes, it's going to act as a bellows. And it's going to make the fire hotter. Increasingly hotter. The water in the cauldron is beginning to get warm. And we can see and feel these little bubbles beginning to rise. Looking down. Aware of the heat in the body. Aware of the water in the body. This water in the cauldron is getting very hot, beginning now to boil. And the breath is increasing the heat. And now it's beginning to create steam. The steam is rising up the central channel. Steam is filling the lower dantian. Lots of steam filling the middle dantian. Filling the upper dantian, the head. And the breath is radiating the steam out in all directions with the out breath. Steam is going up through the body, through the head, out the crown of the head, just filling this vertical column. Steam is also going in all directions. And it's rising, rising. It's carrying our consciousness with it as it rises. We rise up through the body, through the head. We can see the body. We're rising up on the steam. We're in the body. We're around the body. We're above the body. Steam is radiating out in all directions. And we become the steam, which moves out in all directions without boundary. Propelled by the breath, steam goes out in all directions. And now coming out from the belly, there's a beam of light that comes out, shoots out through the top of the head, infinitely up into the universe, down into the earth. This is our life force energy. We're rising with the steam. And now at a high level, the steam is condensing into the stars, sun, the moon, the stars. We are among them. Steam is still moving through the body. And the one who is aware of all of this takes form as a much lighter body. This is called the cosmic embryo. This is the energy body, body of light. Which floats in the steam and is lit by the stars. So the light body can move anywhere, up, down into the body, into the head, to the heart, the belly, to the earth, completely free. And finally, the steam is conscious of the light body. The steam is boundless. So this sense of freedom, lightness, spaciousness, and the physical body is still right here. Okay. Now, with the next in-breath, let's collect everything and come back down into the body, down the central axis, fully into the body, and let the steam go, let the water go, the cauldron, the wood and the fire. And just feel the sitting body here, the heaviness, the heat, the water, the breath. Now this light body dwells in the dantians, and specifically in the heart, as always there. It always has been there. Okay, let's take a couple more breaths. Okay, and then come fully back. And with the next in-breath, let's bring the hands up and bring ourselves down completely into the body. Okay, in-breath. Okay, and one more. And if you would, please just take a moment to remember or reconfigure the mind state of that boundlessness, that connection to the stars and the earth, that feeling of that, how that felt, that sense of liberation, spaciousness, timelessness, just the feeling of that. Okay. So we're sitting, we're feeling all that, we're breathing. Okay, now let's go ahead and move the stool back. And come into standing. So standing position 1. And then recreate or remember the feeling. So the breath can guide you and your eyes. The feeling of that expanded awareness. Vertical connections. Steam. Okay, and now let's go into moving. So the flying crane. In breath. Stay with the feeling. So the hands are floating up on the steam. Arms are moving through the clouds, through the steam. Okay, touching the stars, coming down, touching the earth. Staying with it. And at the end of this one, let's go back to standing one. Okay, so can you sense into the middle dantian, the heart, and the belly, and the earth, and the upper dantian, the head, and the cosmos. So everything is here. Concentration. Okay, now so very gently, let's bring your stool up again. Stay with your mudra. Okay, now we have a good sense of expanded consciousness. We have a felt sense, direct experience of boundlessness or the unconditioned. This is kind of described sometimes as a field. Okay? Now, the next step is to introduce into this field an object of meditation. So we're going to start easy. Okay? So into this field, dropping the attention into the heart, the spaciousness of the heart. Let's bring into this field, this expanded field of awareness, an image of someone we love. Animal, person, alive or dead. Someone we love. And imbue them with the energy of this field, so they sort of merge with it. All right, very good. Let that go. Let it disappear. And now let's bring into this field an image of someone about whom we feel relatively neutral. Someone we don't know well. A neighbor or a post carrier or just someone who maybe you've seen a few times. And bring them into the field and imbue them. They'll just merge with the field. And this field is within you. So it's not something you're looking at. You're looking at the other person, but you're both in this field. Okay, and then let that one go. The next one, this is optional, but this is where the rubber meets the road. The next one is to bring in an image of someone with whom you are at odds. It could be someone you know or someone you don't know. It could be someone of a different political persuasion or someone with attitudes that you don't like. Bring them into this expanded field of awareness. Let them be in there with you. And see that they too have an expanded field of awareness. They have a life that's as valid as yours is. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to love them. You have to do anything. Just let them be there. Examine your feelings. Let your feelings dissolve. So there's just your essence and their essence. You are sharing a world with this person. Okay. And when you're ready, you can let that one disappear. So you get the idea. So we're utilizing this expanded field of awareness to bring in an object of meditation so that we can be one with it or see deeply into it. And we'll sit just for a few minutes. And you can allow whatever arises for you or intentionally bring in an object of awareness. When you're ready, you can let this disappear and just return to this sense of expanded awareness. That's one with the entire cosmos. Now you can use this expanded awareness to offer gratitude, to forgive or ask for forgiveness, to connect someone possibly who has died or who's far away. This expanded field of awareness allows for everything to be here. Nothing is excluded. Let's take a few more breaths. And contemplate that in this moment, people are laughing and crying, being born and dying, experiencing tragedy and miracle. Beautiful, wonderful, loving things happen in this world, and terrible, violent things also happen in this world. And we are one with it all. And this sense of expanded awareness is the theater in which all of this is enacted. And in this expansion, there is no birth and no death, no coming and no going. There is only this moment. Let's take a few more breaths. And then just gently come back. Maybe move your hands, move your fingers, your feet. Okay, and let's, on the count of 3, clap our hands together. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for your practice. So, if you have any comments or questions, feel free. That was a lot. Ah, Russ, you're outdoors. Very cool.
Yeah, it was a night for it. Something
I'm
different.
sorry?
It was a nice night to try something different.
Yeah, that's great. Great. So, questions or comments?
So,
Yeah.
So into this expanded space of expanded awareness, and the most interesting thing that happened for me was that I allowed Donald Trump in. And I have never in, all the time I've been practicing loving kindness, been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I just know. And And there he was wearing a mask. and um, and that was astonishing. And whew, you know, and powerful. So thank you.
Yeah, well, so this is really the thing, you know, Donald Trump, I mean, he's kind of hides under all of our beds, doesn't he? Does under mine. And, you know, the monster in the closet kind of thing. And the point of this is not that we are going to say that it's okay. You know, this is in no way giving our approval to harm that's being caused. And it's not loving or even liking this other. It's not about that. It's just that what is true is we are in the world with them. I mean, obviously true, right? And we really don't want to be. You know, we're very averse to that. And that kind of thing is what holds us back. Because the first noble truth, we first have to acknowledge that this world is full of everything and many, many things that we don't like and that we actually are too. And until we can actually expand enough to get a grip on that this is the way it is, it's difficult to find a way forward. So we kind of, I think, have to accept the world, accept what reality is at a very deep level to begin to be wise enough to know how to change something, whether it be ourselves or something else. And that if we try to do it without that sense of inclusivity, it'll create suffering. What do you think, Cassandra? We've talked about this. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but I know you.
I mean, I always have something to say, Stephen, you know. We can't possibly continue to be a separate self and not suffer. And so that simply means that it's all here. We're all connected in what is in this space, this big field you talked about, this spaciousness, this boundlessness. So if we become a separate self, we become that ego structure, that I identity, and we are alone and suffering and in pain, and you know. So we must include all and everything, you know, because there is nothing other than that. That is what is. Isn't that true? From what we know?
The world is what it is. Again, this is very different from saying it's all okay and we're going along.
It has nothing to do.
It's not that. It's the opposite of that, really. It's not having an attitude and just being able to recognize what's real.
Yeah. This is the reality of what is. Yeah.
And now that I know that, I can maybe be more effective in relieving suffering in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I knew this when I was 20 and I was rioting in Boston. Okay, thank you, Bonnie and Cassandra. Very good, very wonderful. Nice to see you, Allison. Every time I see you, I think of the flower form.
Nice to see you too. Thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to add that I kept thinking, I was seeing Trump also, Bonnie, and Jeffrey Epstein. Ooh.
Oh.
And I was thinking of Ty's poem, Please Call Me by My True Names.
Yeah.
And just, you know, I really think that captures the essence of it.
Yeah. And there's a time to fight. Yeah.
Stephen, I was wondering if you could say a little more about what you would have done differently had you known this when you were 20 and
I just had that energy of youth, you know, and I wanted things
in how would it have played out in you what?
Well, it totally changed my life. I mean, I devoted years to ending the war in Vietnam.
Hmm.
I just totally interrupted my life. And that was great. It was fine. But we were not wise. And we didn't have much in the way of wise advisors. And, you know, I came this close a number of times to doing really bad stuff and having really bad stuff happen to me. Really, I was just lucky. And also I was white. If I had done a lot of the things I did and I had brown skin, I might have been dead, you know, but we were, you know, I don't know who's my age, Bonnie. I mean, you know, back in the day, I mean, we wanted things to change and we want it right now. And this is how it should be. And I'm not regretting, you know, many actions that I took, because I mean, it was real, but we didn't have that wise leadership. The people nowadays, I think, are acting much more conscious, in a much more conscious way, as this wave from the 60s wave played out in the 70s, and we ended up in Ronald Reagan land. But now I think the wave has come back. I think this is the same wave, but it's happening in a better way, in a much better way. That makes sense? Yeah, yeah. Just so you know, I'm 71. So I graduated high school in 67. And that was the summer of love. And the Democratic Convention riot was in 68. And I was part of all of that. King was assassinated, and Kennedy, I mean, you know, it was crazy. Anyway.
I wanted to say I'm almost 77, and so I was enough older than you, and I was also our first son was born in 1967, so I had that was part of the experience, and so I always, you know, I always came at things from an activist, nonviolent perspective. That was true. But the attitudes toward those who I was opposing was all or nothing. They were bad. They were.
We hated that. We hated it.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
absolutely hated all of
and,
it.
And I can really remember watching the, didn't know I was watching you, maybe, Steve.
You were watching me, yeah?
Yeah. So watching what happened at the Democratic Convention, and just filled with hatred at what the police were doing. And it was that was all happening. And it, you know, and I wasn't there in it, but in, you know, in the ways we're talking about, I was certainly part of the violence.
Yeah, and all the riots. I mean, there were riots, or cities were burning. I mean, it was harsh. It was really, really rough. Yeah. Yeah. So to change the subject, I have to ask Birdman Todd Highsmith, what's the news?
I got nothing.
Nothing. The birds are just doing their thing, huh? They're just the young owls are flying around. Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Well, thank you all for doing this together. And next time we're going to go deeper with this. I have not taught this before. I didn't feel like I had, in those classes I was doing, it seemed like there was too much turnover. But this, you know, this group, and some who even aren't here today, I mean, you're ready for this. This is, you know, this it's fine. And so we'll go into the embryonic body, they call it. There's a whole thing on this. So cool. It's fun for me because I practice all this stuff, but I haven't ever shared it with anybody. So
Thank you.
okay. Anybody else? All right. Have a good week.
Thank you.
See y'all. Stay well.